Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to GH Talks Early Childhood Studies. My name is Caitlin Billenduke, and I'm the Liaison Events Coordinator here in Student Recruitment Services at the University of Guelph-Humber. And it is my absolute pleasure to be your host over the next hour. We have such an exciting evening ahead talking all things ECS. We hope you are excited to learn more. Now, before I introduce my other colleagues that are joining us today, I just wanted to go through a few housekeeping items before we begin. Now, you will notice we are taking a little bit of a break from the chat feature this evening. So with that said, we are still taking your questions. If you do have those, please submit them through the Q&A chat feature in the toolbar at any time. You will either be addressed privately through text, or we will cover frequently asked questions live at the end of the webinar. We may also post additional resources in our chat, so feel free to check those out throughout the webinar. We do ask, for the sake of time, that you keep questions specific to the program tonight. All other program webinar recordings will be found on our website at an upcoming date. If you ever need to circle back on the information that you've heard today, a recording of this webinar will also be available on our website at a later date. So without further ado, I am pleased to introduce our first presenter, my colleague, Joseph Italiano, who will take you through who we are as a university, as well as the program. That includes first-year courses, unique opportunities, and much more. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank you, Katie, and hello to all of our future students this evening. I do want to begin today's presentation by giving a big shout out to all of you, as we know that navigating through this pandemic as a student comes with its challenges. As many of you have transitioned to quadmesters or octomesters, to online learning, or perhaps even a mix of both online and in-person learning as well. However, by joining us this evening, it likely means that you've already taken another step in your search for a post-secondary institution, as you've likely made an application to the University of Guelph-Humber, more specifically, our Early Childhood Studies program. Now, for those of you who may not have yet applied but are still considering it, the good news is our programs at this present moment do remain open. However, I do urge that you apply as soon as possible, as applications can close at any time. Now, we'll move on to the next slide. Now, recently, Statistics Canada did release survey results that shows that 14% of college graduates first began their studies while completing a university degree. Now, these students chose to obtain their diploma at a college after attending university because they wanted to gain more specialized hands-on training in the diploma that was closely related to their undergraduate degree. And the good news for you is that at the University of Guelph-Humber, we are the collaboration between two renowned institutions. You have the University of Guelph and Humber College Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning, meaning that our graduates will receive both a degree that provides them with the theoretical knowledge and a diploma that provides you with the hands-on learning experience in 4 years of full-time study while at our one location in Toronto. Now, if you're wondering, how is it possible to earn both a degree and a diploma in 4 years? Well, that's because at the University of Guelph-Humber, our curriculum is more focused. Now, what this means is that our programs consist of a majority of core courses with a maximum of 5 electives per program, allowing you to study what you're truly passionate about, starting at your very first day on campus. Now, at the University of Guelph-Humber, we offer our students more practical hands-on experience, and that's found through our field placements. So each of our 7 focus programs have workplace experience that's built right into the curriculum. So depending on what program you ultimately do decide to take, you may be completing anywhere from 100 hours all the way up to 850 hours of in-field experience. And again, being located in Canada's largest city, Toronto, places you in the center of all opportunities. And the university has done an amazing job building many networks and connections with organizations and companies within our very own community, making it easier for you to secure those placements when that time does come. Now, our instructors at the University of Guelph-Humber also bring more experience and knowledge to the classroom, as they are easily able to connect a real-life experience to the theoretical concept that they will be teaching you within the classroom. And this is made possible as many of them are still working or have worked for a number of years within their related area of study. Now, at the University of Guelph-Humber, we also offer you a more close-knit community, which provides you with more opportunities to create those industry connections. By attending the University of Guelph-Humber, you will experience the unique opportunity of small campus and classroom size. With a total student population of just under 5,000 students, you are placed in an academic learning environment where close bonds and friendships are inevitable. The average class size, just 49 students, with the largest lecture hall being a maximum of 125 students. A close-knit community ensures that you'll be on a first-name basis with your instructors and peers, allowing you to gain that advantage of gaining personalized reference letters and one-on-one supports within the classroom. So as we move on to the next slide, you'll see that as a graduate of the Early Childhood Studies program, upon 4 years of full-time study, when you cross that stage on graduation day, you're going to be earning 2 credentials. So that's 2 pieces of paper. You'll earn an honors Bachelor's of Applied Science in Early Childhood Studies, and that degree will be designated from the University of Guelph. As well as you'll earn an Early Childhood Education Diploma from Humber College. Now, gaining 2 credentials in 4 years is what makes us at the University of Guelph-Humber unique, but it was also what allows you to stand out to employers. By earning 2 credentials, this will tell employers that you not only have the knowledge of the field, but also the hands-on experience to do the job and to do it successfully. Now, as we move forward to the next slide, you'll see that having a close-knit community at the University of Guelph-Humber truly ensures that you have a meaningful experience while as a student with us. Now, as a side note, I recognize that there may be some transfer students in the audience this evening, and I would like to just point out that the intake numbers on the following slide do reflect those of the regular high school incoming students. So just wanted to point that out as well. Now, and in addition, some of the following slides do pertain to our high school audience. However, much of the information is also relevant to our transfer population. Now, when we do look at the Early Childhood Studies program, typically there are about 65 first-year students within this program. This means that the average class size for Early Childhood Studies students is approximately 49 students, and a smaller class size allows you to have a more interactive and engaging lectures where you are guaranteed to get to know your professors and peers on a more personal basis. Now, why is it so important to have that ability to get to know your instructors? Well, at the University of Guelph-Humber, your instructors are the leaders within this particular field. Getting to know your professors on a personal basis will make it easier for you to gain those personalized reference letters, but also connections in the field. Take, for example, your instructor knows of a company that is hiring for a certain position. Due to the fact that they know you on a more personal basis, they may think of you as being a great fit for that position and in turn share that opportunity with you. This is just one of many examples of why the importance of getting to know those who are connected in the field, aka your professors, is incredibly it's an incredible advantage to you as a student. Now, as we move forward to the next slide, throughout your 4 years in the Early Childhood Studies program, you will take courses that strengthen your understanding of the physical, social, emotional, and cognitive development of young children. You will learn how to interact with children, understand parent-child relations, and also know how to assess a child's development. Now, presented on this slide is a list of first-year courses, and these courses serve as an introduction to the field of early childhood studies. Now, as we move on to the next slide, you'll see that students in the Early Childhood Studies program are required to complete more than 800 hours of placement experience over the course of 5 practicum terms. Now, you will gain hands-on experience in all early childhood age group settings, as well as experience working with children with exceptionalities. Now, gaining workplace experience is incredibly important for you as a student, as you'll be able to put those theories that you've learned in the classroom and take those with you and put them in effect in the real world setting. Now, on the next slide, we'll break down the placements a little bit further for you. I did mention that the 800 hours that you'll be completing are split into 5 placement practicum terms. So your first practicum begins in your very first year, and that takes place during the winter semester. Now, this is more of a job shadow, which is designed for you to gain experience and exposure in the field. Now, your second practicum will take place in the winter semester of your second year. And this will take place in an early learning center and care setting, often with infants and toddlers. Now, in your third and fourth practicums, your third and fourth practicums will take place in your third year. And these practicums will focus on inclusion and special needs, in addition to working in community settings such as schools, libraries, or even hospital settings, to name a few. And finally, in your fourth year, your final placement practicum will take place twice a week for the entire duration of the fall and winter semester. Now, this one is truly up to you, and ultimately you can complete it in a placement in an areas rather that you perhaps see as pursuing as a possible career. So we've had students complete their placements in child life hospital units, in schools, and along with many others. Now, as we move forward to the next slide, here you'll see, as mentioned at the beginning of today's presentation, the University of Guelph-Humber, more specifically, our career and placement service coordinators, have done an amazing job building connections and partnerships with employers within our community. Now, presented on the slide here, you'll see a short list of some of the organizations or areas that our students have completed placements with. And I want to assure you that this is definitely a short list. It's not an exhaustive list by any means, but it's one that is placed so that it can give you a rough idea and allow you to start imagining perhaps what kind of placement settings you would like to be placed in. Now, as we move forward to the next slide, you'll see that as you embark on your post-secondary journey, many of you may find it refreshing to know that we at the University of Guelph-Humber are here to support you along the entire way. We have academic advisors who are similar to your guidance counselors, and they are here to support you along your academic journey. Now, we also have the Student Wellness and Accessibility Center, which is available for students who may require accommodations. And students will also have access to inclusive services, such as the LGBTQ+ Resource Center, the International Center, and the Indigenous Education and Engagement Center, to name a few. And today, we're lucky to be joined by Marie, who is one of many career service coordinators who will now take you through the ways that career services can support you as a student, but also what you are able to do once you graduate from the University of Guelph-Humber. Marie, welcome.
Thank you. And hello, everyone. My name is Marie, and I am the Career Services Coordinator for the Early Childhood Studies program. So as the Career Services Coordinator, I am here to help students from first year to alumni with their career path. So that goes from helping them identify what kind of jobs they want to do related to their field during the summer or part-time, helping them identify what field they want to get into after they graduate, or developing skills and developing networks with people who are in their field of interest or in their program of interest. Next, please. So as part of the career and placement services to help students identify what career path they may want to explore and follow, we offer different services. In fall, in September, we have our annual graduate and professional school fair, where we have schools from across Ontario come and promote their master program as well as their postgraduate certificate. So in the past, we had the University of Toronto come and talk about their master in teaching. We also had Seneca College come in to talk about their postgraduate certificate for early childhood education special needs. We also have job fair. So in January, we have a career expo where we bring in employers for ECS for students who are currently looking for placement opportunities, volunteer opportunities, part-time jobs, as well as employment after graduation. So we do offer a lot of one-on-one support where students can come in and talk to us. And right now we're doing virtual one-on-one appointments when students can come and talk to explore about what they want to do. We have students sometimes that go into programs and feel lost about where they want to work after they graduate. So I help them figure it all out. So here is a list of careers that students who graduate from the SES program can do without any further education. So as you know, you will all graduate with 2 pieces of documents. So one of them will be the ECE diploma, which will allow you to register as an early childhood educator and work as an early childhood educator. So this type of role is the foundation for a lot of other opportunities in the ECE field. For example, students who start off as an early childhood educator with 3 to 5 years of experience can go on to become supervisors, managers, program coordinators for organizations that provide programs for specific children with specific needs, or before and after programs. Students with that experience as well can go on to work for Ontario Public Services as licensing specialists, where they can go to different childcare centers and make sure that they are meeting the policy and the requirements from the government. And students who also have the ECE experience can go on to work in post-secondary as a field placement coordinator. So this is a person that when you're coming in to do the program, you will most likely be interacting with. So the field placement coordinator is here to help you identify what organization may be best suited for you in terms of placement. So they are looking for somebody who has experience in the ECE field because you know what the requirements are in the field, but you also build connection. Aside from that, we also have students that go on to become community program coordinators, where they are the one working for the region of York, for example, and they are helping families find funding for childcare. We also have students that go on to become a home childcare consultant, where they open their own home childcare, or resource consultant or teacher, where they go on to work specifically with children who have special needs. So students that graduate can work in different areas. They can work in multiple services agencies that provide services for children with special needs, before and after school care, early literacy program. They can also work in school boards as an registered early childhood educator or an educational assistant, and they can also work in nonprofit organizations. So here, as you can see, is a list of programs that our students are able to go to, but there are much more that our students have gone into. So we do have alumni that have gone to do the Master of Education in Development Psychology, where they are currently working at Erin Oak Kids Treatment as a respite program assistant. We also have a lot of students, and we have a couple of alumni that got accepted this year to the Master of Science in Child Life and Pediatric Psychosocial Care at McMaster University. And this is the only child life program in Canada. And they have a very limited amount of seats that they allow students to come in every year. So every year we do have alumni and fourth year students that get in. And we currently have a student that graduated from this program and is working at Sick Kids Hospital as a child life specialist. And one of the biggest program of interest for the ECS students are the teacher college programs. So every year we have a lot of students that apply to the teachers college programs and that definitely get into it. The placement that you have in your program is a great advantage because a lot of your experience are with children, which is what they're looking for. So we have students this year in their fourth year that got accepted, and we have alumni as well that have graduated from the University of Toronto, Master in Teaching, as well as Bachelor of Education at Lakehead University, York University, as well as Western University. We also have students that have gone on to do other things aside from masters. They have gone on to pursue postgraduate certificate, such as the one in inclusive resource practice for child and family, where our alumni is currently working for the York region as an early interventionist, where they are working with children who have special needs. So the ECS degree is a great foundation, and it allows our students to explore different areas where they want to work with children. We also have alumni that have become occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, as well as social workers. So here in front of you, you will see some stats from a recent survey that we conducted with alumni services. So this statistic help us determine if the services that we are currently offering our students are beneficial to them and are helping them get into the career or the program that they are interested in after they graduate. But it also allows us to cater our services to our alumni. So our alumni have access to career services for life. So we do have alumni that for 5 years, 10 years down the line, decide that they want to pursue graduate school, and they come back and ask for services. Here you will see a testimonial from the Distress Center of Greater Toronto. They are one of our partners that take on volunteer and placement students. It is a crisis helpline. So those testimonials are great because they allow us to see what our students are doing in the field. They provide us feedback on where we may need to help our students in terms of employability skills, as well as job search skills. Here is another one as well from CAMS Kids Foundation. And this is a great foundation because, again, they take on placement and volunteer students, but they also have students representative for Guelph-Humber, where they get to talk about CAMS Kids Foundation. They participate in writing blogs and articles to help kids with their mental health challenges.
Thank you so much, Marie, for all of that great career information, along with Joseph for all of that great program information on the ECS program. Just a note out there for our audience, just in light of everything that you've heard today, whether you have a career path in mind right now or are still continuing to navigate your options, I think it's really safe to say that placement and experiential learning is now becoming so much more vital nowadays. And it is so important to be graduating with that experience because it very much builds that confidence to help you guide your career decisions and success for when you enter the real world. So as you continue to do your post-secondary research, one of the key considering factors when choosing a suitable program for you are the opportunities that it can lead you to after you graduate. You definitely want to consider keeping your options open because those can sometimes change. But you all might be thinking right now, all of the information that you heard from Joseph and Marie today sounds amazing, and it really does. The Early Childhood Studies program is fantastic. But we also know how important it is to try before you buy. And your research would certainly not be complete without hearing from a current student or two yourself about their experience and what they hope to achieve in their future. So right now, I'm pleased to introduce Tracy and Vanessa, two students in our ECS program, to talk a little bit about their experiences. Welcome, Tracy and Vanessa. All right, so I do have a couple questions, well, more than a couple. I have a few questions for the both of you that our audience is curious to know about. Also, this is just a reminder to all of our guests out there. If you do have any questions or even any feedback for our staff and students, don't hesitate to continue submitting those in the Q&A chat. We'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, I am going to ask the first question to Tracy. So Tracy, can you tell us, in the Early Childhood Studies program, you do study all areas of childhood development, and you will be taking courses or do take courses such as children in play, children with exceptionalities, and parent-child relations. Can you tell us a little bit about your favorite courses and why?
Yeah, for sure, Katie. Some of my favorite courses were curriculum development and play and programming because both classes incorporated so much hands-on learning to connect the concepts and the theories we were discussing in class. For example, after a lecture, my professors would often, not always, but most of the time, will bring out materials in front of the classroom like crayons, blocks, giant bowling pins, and then they would ask us, okay, use these materials in one way or another to show me what you learned and understood from the lecture. So whether that was me drawing a photo, building a Lego castle, or singing a song. So I thought it was a really cool way for us to really apply our knowledge like immediately after hearing a lecture. Whenever we talked about outdoor play, we would always go on nature walks in the Humber Arboretum, which is like a little garden space thing behind campus. And we would pick up sticks, make snowballs together, and just kind of like breathe in nature, which I think is really important for us. And I feel like if you've attended these webinars before, and you've seen me before, you might have heard me tell my favorite memory everyone knows at GH is once we were learning about the importance of Play-Doh. I know, Play-Doh. And my professor brought out ingredients for us to make fresh Play-Doh from scratch in class that we got to bring home. Don't know where it is, somewhere in my room. But a lot of my peers actually used this recipe in their placements. So whether we were doing like a cooking lesson with children or a science experiment, let's make Play-Doh. So it was really cool how we were able to continuously apply our knowledge into the practical field. And I think the like hands-on experience element of these classes really made learning the content a lot more fun. And that's probably why it was really memorable to me as a student.
Amazing. Thank you, Tracy. And fun, of course, when working with children, I guess, is at the forefront, right? Yeah, what a really great way to show just how the theory and the practical really blend together in your classes. So thank you for sharing with us. So my next question I have here is for Vanessa. So as an ECS student, you get to complete over 800 hours of placement, which is a lot of hours. So do you mind sharing with us some of your best placement experiences?
Yes, for sure. The number of opportunities for placement offered in the ECS program are truly wonderful. So my favorite one so far has to be at Sick Kids Hospital as a child life student. And here I was able to plan and implement therapeutic activities for a variety of children. And one of my favorite parts of getting to work at Sickets was the ability that I was constantly working with a variety of age groups, all the way from newborns, infants, toddlers, school-age children, and even adolescent, which gave me that much more exposure and experience and allowed me to learn so much hands-on skills. And definitely a highlight and something that was truly rewarding from my experience at Sickets was definitely the ability to make a child's experience at a hospital more enjoyable and allow them to still be kids, even though they might have a bunch of tests or have an IV. So it was definitely truly rewarding.
Amazing. Thank you, Vanessa. And I know Marie talked about child life. I know a lot of the students at our university are very interested in getting into the field of child life. And what an amazing experience to start by just applying all of that knowledge from the classroom in the real world. You're already starting to make a difference. So that sounds very, very rewarding. I'm sure our audience thinks the same. So thanks for sharing that. I have a next question for Tracy. Can you tell us a bit about any other opportunities you've had within the program, but outside of the classroom? So I know ECS has different events, societies, and other initiatives. Please share with
us. For sure. The Early Childhood Studies program at Guelph-Humber, they really value connecting like students and staff together. So the resource team, alongside Nikki and Elena, who are our program heads, they plan out a lot of amazing events and opportunities for us to engage with each other and kind of get involved within the program. My friends and I always look forward to these events and try to participate in as many as we can. Some of them that I've been to were Operation Christmas Child, where we like pack a box for like children who are in need, Orange Shirt Day, and the Balloon Gala. I know other peers have done volunteering at the Ronald McDonald House or the Sick Kids Get Loud March. So a lot of like great initiatives that are relevant to our program, and it's a great way for us to connect with the community outside of Guelph-Humber as well. With this year being online, they've actually worked really hard to facilitate like social gatherings online virtually. So just to keep us connected during quarantine, because it's been a rough time for a lot of people. So we have like Netflix parties, we have a breakfast club, we got book exchanges where we like give each other books and like read them together. So a lot of really cool stuff that they planned out. It's really great to see that our community is still interacting with each other despite the year not being in person. In terms of societies, we do have our Early Childhood Study Society. I was actually the vice president of communications in my first year. So I helped organize events and promote them on social media. It's a great experience for students who want to meet new people and kind of like dip their feet into getting involved on campus, but it's not a huge commitment. So a lot of great things that our program has to offer in terms of connecting with each other.
Thank you, Tracy. And for anybody who's ever heard Nikki and Elena speak before, I know they're very passionate about the program, very involved. And the Early Childhood Studies program especially is really all about giving back to the community. And it's always really great to hear that you all are making a difference in children's lives outside of the classroom. So thanks for sharing that with us. Next question is for Vanessa. Now, Vanessa, can you share with us any opportunities that have enhanced your experience at the university? So this could be not related to the program. And I know that we have work study, athletics, clubs, study abroad. Can you tell us a bit about your experiences there?
Yes, so I was fortunate enough to take part in the study abroad trips in my first year at Guelph-Humber. I ended up going to Denmark, which focused on nature education and the importance of play for children. One of the highlights was getting to visit a nature kindergarten and learn about their philosophy and approach to education. In addition, we also got to go to like Legoland and even dive in deeper into all the importance and all the different elements and benefits that play offers children, which is truly informational and super interesting. And the trip was a real eye-opener as it allowed me to ultimately become more passionate about connecting children with nature. because prior I didn't really know the importance of it. And it ultimately allowed me to learn more about play globally and learn about Denmark's education system, as well as their view of children, which really shaped my philosophy and view of children as a whole.
Thank you so much for sharing with that with us, Vanessa. And I know that I'm sure you and everybody out in the audience are very eager to when we can travel once again, because study abroad is one of those things that has become very popular across all of our programs. And then, yeah, I've heard a lot about the Denmark trip. It's so cool to get such a unique perspective on education from around the world. And definitely you can use that and apply it in the real world where you can see possible. So thank you for sharing that with us. And of course, traveling, who doesn't love that? Next question I have is for Tracy. So Tracy, when you were considering different program options back when you were in the shoes of our audience members in grade 12, what made you believe the early childhood studies at the University of Guelph-Humber was the right fit for you?
Ooh, good question. If I'm gonna be honest, I was quite lost in grade 12 on where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. I actually applied to 3 entirely different programs. Early childhood studies was one of the programs I was considering because all my life I knew I enjoyed working and playing with younger children. What really helped me figure out that Guelph-Humber's early childhood studies program was the right fit for me was attending the Ontario University Fair held in Toronto typically, and speaking to the people at the booth. I remember hearing Mickey Martin just scream out loud, "If you like children, then you already belong here." And that kind of like resonated with me. And I was like, oh, that's so simple. I do like children. Maybe I do belong here. That's just her personality, super outgoing. So I also went on a campus tour because that kind of piqued my interest. I was like, okay, Guelph-Humber is on my list. I went on the campus tour and I fell in love with the facilities that the early childhood studies students can use on campus, such as the resource room. So that's filled with like educational and therapeutic materials for us to bring to placement. And then the Innovative Learning Lab, which is an interactive classroom that promotes inclusivity by accommodating the environment for every learner. So I just thought, like, whoa, like I really connected with the values and the vision that Guelph-Humber's early childhood studies program had, and I kind of knew that I would be surrounded by positive and warm people. So it's a program that I really saw myself having potential in, and I'm so glad that I chose it.
I'm so happy to hear that, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. Yes, our ECS students are little balls of sunshine, so lovely, so positive. And yes, you are correct. Just reiterating what you said, Tracy, if you want to know if ECS is the right fit for you, as long as you know you want to work with children, then you can figure out the rest later. So I think that was a very important takeaway for anybody out there considering our program. And of course, seeing campus, that's really that aha moment that allows you to figure out if that's going to be your home for the next 4 years. And I know that you'll have a chance to view our facilities very shortly through a campus tour. So hang tight. Thanks, Tracy. Now I do have a couple more questions. We'll get through these quickly as I do have questions for both Vanessa and Tracy. So Vanessa, I will ask you, and Tracy, I'll have you chime in afterwards as well, your plans for after you graduate the University of Guelph-Humber. Can you share with us, Vanessa, briefly what those might be?
Yeah, so I'm currently interested in pursuing child life and pursuing my master's in child life and psychosocial care, which Marie did touch upon earlier in the session. And at the same time, I'm also interested in either pursuing my master in occupational therapy.
Right on. Wonderful. And for Tracy, how about you? What are your plans?
So I am graduating this year, which is super weird. It's been confirmed that I will be attending Nipissing University Schulich School of Education for the Teachers College program to be a primary junior teacher. I'm most interested in becoming a special education teacher to work with children with diverse needs in the classrooms. So that is the plan so far.
Congratulations, Tracy. We're so glad to hear that. We're sad to see you graduate. Well, we're happy to see you graduate, but we will miss you. But yeah, just wanted to show our audience members out there, between the both of you, different types of career paths But again, as long as you know you like working with children, you will find your fit. So thank you for sharing your plans. And last question, I think is very, very important. I'm going to direct this to both of you again as well. So I want you both to take a moment to reflect back on when you were in grade 12, like our audience, and having to make this important decision choosing a university. So what advice can you give to our grade 12 students in the audience as they continue to embark on making this decision on where to attend this fall? So I'm going to ask Vanessa share first.
Yeah, so one of the advice I would give is that post-secondary experience is literally what you make of it. So there is no wrong choice when it comes to choosing a post-secondary institution. I know I struggle with trying to find like the perfect school. There's always various pathways that can lead to your ultimate career goal. And so regardless of the school that you choose to attend or the path that you choose to take, you can always make it memorable and make the most out of it. So for example, that was for me, that was getting involved on campus, whether attending workshops, volunteering, or even working on campus, and truly building meaningful connections and relationships with my peers and my professors.
Well said, Vanessa. It's not just about the academics, it's about the memories you make by getting involved and making those lasting friendships. And Tracy, how about you? Do you have any advice for our grade 12 audience?
I would say that you don't need to know exactly what you want to do and what you want to be in the next 50 years. You don't need to make a decision right now, even if you're unsure. Choosing to go to college or university is a big decision, and it might not be something that everyone would choose to do, which is 110% okay. Your path is probably not going to look exactly like a friend's path, and that's perfectly normal because it's your own life. So I would say, just take some time, do your research, don't limit yourself, pursue something that you are passionate about. That way you will genuinely enjoy what you're learning and doing, whether in your studies or in your future career. I say right now it's probably really confusing. There's a lot of different schools out there, a lot of different programs. So really think about what matters to you and see what school kind of reflect those values. So for example, I grew up knowing almost everyone at my school. They were like my second family. So when looking at universities, I really wanted to go to a smaller school where I could connect with my peers and professors on a personal level. I didn't want to be another fish in a giant sea. So whenever I went to campus tours, I always try to see if I could like envision myself being there, if I felt excited to be a future student there. And that's what happened during my campus tour at Guelph-Humber. So I hope one day along the pathway, you kind of get that moment where you realize like, oh, this is the right place for me. It may not be Guelph-Humber, and that's perfectly still okay. It can be anywhere that it is. So good luck. Vanessa and I wish you all the best. We believe in you.
What's such words of wisdom from the both of you. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, pursue your passion and the rest will fall into place. I won't tell you how old I am, but sometimes I don't even know what I want to do. So it's okay to change your mind. I think that's very important to point out. And then of course, choosing where you find your home, find your people, as well as find the one. That's definitely a really great piece of advice for our audience. So I'd like to thank you both, Tracy and Vanessa. As you remember when you were in the shoes of our audience members, your stories and your perspectives, advice shared today are incredibly helpful in aiding these students on their journey to finding their best fit in university. So thank you so much again. Now this leads us to another important perspective, and that's experiencing our campus for yourself. Now, we know that we can't necessarily replace the actual campus experience. I know you heard from Tracy and Vanessa about their experience coming on campus and deciding that the university was the right fit for them. However, we do have something that's second best. Now, I'm pleased to introduce one of our student ambassadors, Cassia, who will take you through our virtual campus experience over the next 10 minutes. Now, this is probably the quickest tour we'll ever deliver. So we do appreciate your patience, as immediately following the tour, we will finish off with a live Q&A to address all of your remaining questions in the Q&A chat. Welcome, Cass.
Thanks so much, Katie. Hi, everyone. As Katie mentioned, my name is Cassia, and I'm currently a third-year student in the psychology program. I am very excited to be taking you around campus, even if it's virtually today. So let's head on inside, and we'll start out in the atrium. The atrium is essentially where students gather every single day between classes or for events. You can see right in front of us here is our signature plant wall. The plant wall is completely real, made up of over 1,000 different species of plants, and it's a great backdrop for when you're studying in the spaces that surround the atrium. And as we pan around, you'll get to see also our current events board over here, where we advertise different events happening at the university, especially the ones that happen through societies or clubs. And here we have our signature spiral staircase. This is one of 5 staircases that lead up to the top floors, as well as 2 elevators. So now we'll move through our student service offices, all full of people who are here to support you in things like admission, advising, work placements, career planning, academics, and student financial services. You can connect with the student services and speak to staff one-on-one, and they'll always make sure you're making most of your time at the university and provide you with any resources you might need. Heading back into the atrium, we'll look at our art gallery, where business students often make events come to life. Specifically, students in the Events Management 2 course, they get to plan and source different events like art exhibitions and product launches. I haven't had the chance to attend any exhibitions or anything yet in my undergrad career, but I have had friends who have said that the work put on here is always truly incredible and very jaw-dropping. So the business students always do a really great job. And across from there, we're going into our 2 biggest lecture halls, GH111 and GH117. They seat 120 students and are the largest at the university. The average class size is about 49, and most of our classes seat about 65 students, but the larger first-year courses tend to be held in here because multiple programs might be taking the same course. Now we'll head back to the spiral staircase and make our way up to the 2nd floor. We'll start in our newly renovated practice presentation rooms that were built with the help of alumni donors. These rooms act as practice boardrooms for student project groups to enhance things like public speaking, PowerPoint presentation, or meeting and case delivery skills. If you look on the wall, you can see little hexagons. Those are the sound dampening design features of the room, which allow for quiet even when campus is busy. Our new case competition course allows business students to learn how to tackle business cases and the opportunity to take part in one of our award-winning case competition teams. A lot of the teams have taken home major awards at different competitions across the globe, including this win in Johannesburg, South Africa. One of the students here, named Emma, credits this win to getting her job after graduation as a senior reconciliation officer at Scotiabank. And as we work our way around the 2nd floor, we find various student spaces for individual study and study groups, as well as our learning commons, where many student workers help classmates with computer, academic, career, and research support, and they all get paid for doing so. And here we find our Ignite Leadership Lounge, which is located across from the GH Cafe Eatery. Lots of student leaders get to assemble here and plan and execute different events, including students who pursue a position in a student society or at a club at Ignite. Now we'll head up to the 3rd floor. The next few rooms are specifically for early childhood studies students. This one here is the Innovative Learning Lab, which is a state-of-the-art classroom that teaches future educators to understand learning styles by using them themselves. As we take a look around the room, you'll see a bunch of different features that I think are pretty cool. And I do wish I got to use this room as a psych student, but there's a lot of things like the wiggle chairs, there's stools, there's even like exercise bikes with desks attached, and they all cater to the active kinesthetic learner. Next, we'll head into the Early Childhood Resource Room, which is like the social hub for ECS students, and students can sign out a bunch of different learning resources to bring to their placements. Placements include places like the Ronald McDonald House and Sick Kids, and as well as classroom settings, which was mentioned earlier by Marie. I've had friends who have taken out resources and brought them to classrooms that don't have as many toys in them, and the kids always go crazy for them. So now we'll be heading into the crime scene investigation lab, but if you should feel uncomfortable with viewing a crime scene up close, you can minimize your Zoom window at this time. So the CSI Lab is set up by professors to emulate the various components of a recent crime. Students can assess things like fingerprints and blood splatter, and it's just one of the ways that justice studies students can take everything they learn in the classroom and apply it outside of the classroom. Students can also join and compete in international competitions with the CSI case team, or get involved and prepare for law school or other graduate studies with our Pre-Law Society or Alpha Phi Sigma Honor Society. So if you did minimize your window, you can feel free to come back as we head into our Media and Communication Studies labs. Pictured here is the editing suite, which features iMac workstations that are equipped with software such as Adobe Creative Cloud and are mostly used by digital journalism and visual communication students to produce and edit their work. And here is the control room, which allows students to create the lighting and sound behind television. Next, we're going into our photography lab, where digital marketing and social media, visual communication, and multimedia journalism students shoot and edit their work. Next, our multi-purpose production studio hosts a soundstage, green screen, and allows students to produce live television broadcasts and podcasts on location. If you do follow us on social media at Guelph-Humber, you'll probably recognize a bunch of these places from our web series, What's Up Wednesdays. And lastly, for the media labs, we look at our virtual reality lab, which is equipped with the Google cameras that allowed us to create a lot of this tour. So now heading down the hall, we'll head over to the Experiential Learning Lab, which is used mostly by family and community social services students. The room is kind of set up like a typical community agency office. In the back, there is 2 counseling rooms. Each of the rooms has a one-way mirror. So students on the inside of the room can basically role play client interviews as if they were like in a therapy session. And the professor can sit on the outside and watch and observe what they're doing. In that same space, psych students sometimes use the lab to conduct research. In my first year, I know I used the room a lot to participate in different research projects put on by professors or thesis students. And students can be hired as research assistants to work paid positions alongside a professor to collect and interpret data on a specific topic. One of our former tour leaders named Skylar was hired as a psychology research assistant last year, and the topic she studied helped her to write her thesis and had the opportunity to present her findings at an academic conference. So now we'll head back down to the second floor over to the Humber College side. If you would like a full tour of the Humber College campus, you can visit humber.ca and you'll get a full tour of the North Campus. But for now, we'll look at some of the different services and buildings that we share with Humber College students, including the library, which is part of the Learning Resource Commons, the bookstore, Student Wellness and Accessibility Center, our math and writing centers, international and testing centers, as well as eateries. There's lots of different places to eat over at Humber, and you can find something no matter what it is that you like to eat, including burritos, salad bars, jerk chicken, sandwiches, pizza, pretty much anything you can think of. One of my favorite places to go eat has definitely been the Pay What You Can soup bar. I used to go all the time back on campus, especially in the winter when it was a little bit cold outside. And they always have a bunch of really cool soups and they always change it up. So I definitely recommend going. At Humber, you'll also find the athletics facilities and our unique kinesiology labs. Pictured here is the exercise prescription lab, where students take courses and partake in hands-on learning such as taping and get to use the body assessment equipment such as bod pods, which are pictured here, and allow students to understand body composition in the context of health. From here, we'll now head back across the bridge and out through our main doors for a quick walk across the parking lot over to residence. UGH students share 3 buildings and living learning communities with Humber College students. For students who do want to live on campus, single-style rooms are assigned to applicants who receive an offer of admission and apply to residence by June 1st. Living in residence has the added perk of being situated on the Humber Arboretum, which is a 250-acre green space set just behind campus and filled with award-winning green spaces, hiking trails, and even an outdoor classroom. So now that you've had a bit of a glimpse around the GH campus, I hope you have a bit of a feel for what it's like to be a GH student. I'll now pass it over to Caitlin to finish us off for today.
Thank you, Cass, for that lovely presentation on campus. I hope all of you at home got a feel for our stunning campus space and surrounding areas. But now we're going to turn it over to your questions. So thank you to everyone who has submitted questions through our Q&A chat. If you do have questions, please submit it at this time. I invite all of our staff and student presenters to turn on your cameras as we proceed with our Q&A promptly. So I know we're right at 5 o'clock, so we do appreciate your patience as we get through these questions. So my first question is going to be directed to Marie. In terms of placement, I do have a couple of questions here. Are placements typically paid? And can you tell us a little bit what placement will look like during the COVID time period?
Yes, I can definitely touch on that. So placement in the Early Childhood Studies program is not paid. This is a decision made as well based on the College of ECE, and this is not something that we can change. So we do have a lot of students that do ask that, and we do understand that, you know, some students have to work at the same time as doing school. Unfortunately, placements are unpaid. And the other question was placement during COVID.
Yeah, a placement during COVID. Can you explain what that might look like to some students?
Yes, definitely. We do have students who are comfortable going in person to their placement site, and we also do have students who are not comfortable going on placement site. And also based on the current pandemic shutdown and all the procedures happening, we are always making sure that our students do have that placement component, as it is a big part of our program, and it also allows our students to gain the experience. We do actively make sure that we have employers that are willing to take students on site, making sure obviously that they are respecting the rules and making sure that they have the appropriate gear if necessary. The students that are doing placement, not in person, are doing it virtually. So we have different ways that it may look. We have students that are focusing their placement a little bit more on research in the topic of children. So they are working with faculty. We have we have students who are working with organizations that are offering placement as well as programs and activities for children virtually, so they can get that experience as well. And we also working on alternative for students who may want to do placement in summer, depending on what is happening during this course year.
Thank you, Marie. So it sounds like there are a few options depending on safety, health measures, and what students are comfortable with. So I do encourage students coming into the program, if you do have any questions or concerns about placement, to speak with current placement services further. I'm going to address the next couple of questions again to Marie, and this is pertaining to teaching after graduation. So are you able to become a high school teacher through Teachers College after taking this program? We also have a question asking if you can teach preschool after graduating our program.
Okay, so this is something that I talk about a lot. We do have a lot of students that are interested in teaching. The degree in early childhood studies allow you to apply directly for Teachers College programs that are consecutive. They are 2-year in length, and they can be automatically applying to the primary junior division, which means that they can teach from kindergarten to grade 4, depending on the schools. For students who are looking to teach in high school or even middle school will need teachables, which is what Teachers College, they call teachables the subject that you are looking to teach at that level. So for example, if you are looking to teach in high school, you would need two teachable, English and let's say physical education. You will need additional courses on top of the degree that you are taking, on top of the ECS degree, to meet those teachable. For example, English will have specific courses that you will need to take in terms of literature or creative writing, just for you to be able to teach that course at the high school level. So it is a longer answer where we can definitely go a little bit more in depth. But if you are looking to teach from grade 4 and up, you would need additional courses on top of the courses you are taking part of the degree.
Thank you, Marie. And just to clarify, did we cover preschool as well with that answer?
Yes, preschool.
Oh,
yes, just to clarify again, preschool is considered in the primary junior division, and students that graduate from our program can apply to that division without any additional courses.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I believe that is all of the live questions that we're going to be answering for today. But that concludes today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'd also like to extend a big thank you to Joseph, Marie, Tracy, and Vanessa, and Cass for providing their respective information. We hope you found everything today and the stories shared helpful as you continue your university research. However, the conversation does not end here. We'd like to continue helping you however which way we can. So with that said, we do invite you to check out all of the resources that we have posted in our chat, including other ways to connect. So we do have other virtual offerings taking place throughout the rest of, for the next couple of weeks, or few weeks rather, leading to the June 1st deadline to accept, including our other GH Talk series coming down the pipe, and Next Steps, which is happening on May 26th. So Next Steps will offer sessions on your next steps to becoming a U of GH student for those of you who have received an offer of admission. So to register, please use the Visit Us link in the chat. You can also check your email, as we may be emailing you some information about that. And Next Steps, the registration page will be available in the coming weeks. If you do have any further questions, please check out our website for more information. You can also contact us by phone, email, or by highly encourage you book a one-on-one virtual appointment with us if you do have any specific questions about your application. And that can be also found, booking an appointment can be found using a link in the chat. Lastly, we do encourage you follow us on all of our social channels for the latest and greatest University of Guelph-Humber news and updates. So I'd like to thank you all once again for joining us this evening. And thank you so much for your interest in the University of Guelph-Humber. I wish you all the best on the rest of your studies and for embarking on the rest of your research. Bye now.